Hi everybody, welcome to another video. This one's going to be the Sagola Trophy Truck for clear coat. That's in a 1.2 XL and a WS400 base. Now this is just a little introduction. It is a spraying video. It's just a little introduction to the video really. There was a few things online I saw about the WS base coat version, and people were saying it's exactly the same as the non-base coat version, you know, the normal clear coat version, except for the fact it's got clear in it and it's got different coloured knobs and levers, etc. Well, knobs, not levers. And it isn't exactly the same. The body's exactly the same, needle's exactly the same, the cap is exactly the same, so they both have the WS400 which is different to the LS400, which is the HVLP version. But this, I find this is quite good for solvent base coat. The real difference is these two here. If you can see those two here, there, this one is not focusing, but this one here, the one here that I'm shaking, is the WS400 clear, and this one is the OBS, optimized base coat settings, and that one is the one that's obviously in the base coat version. So they are different. So when people say they're the same apart from the knobs, so that you can tell a difference, you know, when you want a clear gun and a base gun, it's not. They are actually different. And the other one is the Sagola Trophy Truck 4600 Extreme. Now this one has a titanium cap, but they call it a Pro, and at first I thought that it was exactly the same as the normal titanium one, but it actually isn't. If you can see, the holes here and here are slightly bigger on the Pro version, and that's the only difference I can see. The actual holes in the air horns are exactly the same. Sorry the camera's not focusing properly, but it's one of those things, I guess. But anyway, we'll get on to the spraying video and see how we go. So now down to the spraying. Before I start, just to remind everybody that about 2 months ago I started up an Instagram page, and it's a little bit more immediate than YouTube. So there's a few little videos go on there, and a few you know, photos and things like that, typical Instagram stuff, I guess. But it's a good place if you ever need to contact me, you know, and send me pictures or whatever of whatever you're doing. It's a good place to start that, because it's, you know, you can't do that with YouTube. You can't add a picture to the message you put on a video. So I thought I'd mention that anyway, if anybody wants to pop over there. The address is at the start of the videos all the time. So with this, the WS400 base coat, the OBS, it's very similar to the WS400, the clear coat gun, in it doesn't like full fan. So if you notice at the start, you see those two patches on the right hand side. The first one is a bit wet at the bottom, and that's where I put the fan 3 out. I had the fluid on 3 because I didn't want full fluid, but I had the fan on 3, and it just doesn't give a good pattern. So I put it in by half a turn, and the next one, which is the one to the left of those two, it just looks much better. And if you play the video back and just look at that, you'll see that it just looks more even. And that's the thing you want to look for when you're trying to set up a gun. Obviously pressure will make a difference, etc, etc, and the thickness of the material you're using. But look at the pattern. You're after a nice pattern, because if you can get an even pattern at the pressure you desire, then you should get a reasonably good paint job, in that it's going on nice and even. This is a BMW X08 paint code, and it's quite a difficult paint code to spray. It gives, I've got a video at the end where it wasn't actually sunny, but it was sunny in, well, it was light, a light outside. I think it's the following day, but it shows you underneath that there's like a gold underneath the grey, and it's a difficult colour to spray, because if you put just the remotest bit too much on, you get like grey sags, or worst case scenario is a run. So it's actually quite a good test of a spray gun. You know, it's along there with some of the silvers, which have quite a lot of dark pigment in them if you get it wrong. So I thought it'd be a good video to do, so that you could see it doing what is, you have to take my word for it, which is a relatively difficult colour to do. And it coped with it really, really well. I was quite impressed with this gun. I've only recently got it. I think this was the second time I've used it. I've used it a few more times now I'm narrating this video, just to, you know, so I can get a better feel for it, really. But it's a really nice gun. I haven't got the LS400. The LS400 uses a stack of air because of the size of the air holes in the air cap. So this, for someone like me, is a good compromise, because it handles solvent base coat, which we're using on motorcycle stuff, which we're allowed to use on motorcycle stuff in the UK, and it handles it really, really well. So it's a good way of getting a cracking looking gun, which it is, with its gold knobs and that. It does look a really nice gun. It's a good way of getting it and using it for something that you would use it for. I haven't used it for clear. It seems a bit silly when I've got a WS400 clear coat gun, but I'm sure it would be okay for that as well. But you know, it is a base gun, so I'm using it for base coat, and you can see it's coping with this really, really well. Temperature is about 18 degrees Celsius, so it's not a cold day and it's not a hot day, so it's just short of ideal. Probably 22, 24 Celsius, which is about, what's that, about 75, 78 Fahrenheit, would be ideal to spray this sort of stuff, because it just goes off nicely. So I'm applying a bit of heat before each coat, just to get the base coat to go off quicker, really, to speed it up. Yeah, just get a bit of heat in the item, really. So the other gun we're using today is the Trophy Truck. And now at the start of the video I explained to you the differences between the two, and I think looks wise you would have to say that the WS400 is probably the winner. I like the colour, I really like the colour of the Trophy Truck, but I mean, you look at that, it's such a good looking gun that you think to yourself, well, you know, not much is going to beat it, really, is it, when it comes to looks? But it's not all about looks, as we know, it's about performance. So this is actually a Kawasaki tank, so they're quite awkward to spray because there's quite a lot of different shapes on them, and if you overdo it on some of the underneath shapes, you will get drips and runs. So, you know, a good all-round test, I thought, for this gun, to show you guys what it's capable of. And it's a really, really capable gun. 1.3 tip, so it's a slightly bigger tip, I guess, than the Sagola, which is 1.2 XL. I haven't actually measured them, but the clear coat gun has a 1.3 HD, and the tip is, I think it's about 1.325 millimeter in the high delivery, so it's actually just over a 1.3 tip. Whereas this tip, when you look at it, I don't know whether you could actually see it on the video at the start, but when you look at it, it is slightly smaller, so there is a difference between the two tips. But a really cracking gun. Really enjoyed using it, as I've said before. Lovely to look at. Yes, very, very enjoyable. Is it, you know, will it overtake the other guns that I like? The Sagola with the aqua cap works well for solvent base coat, and so does the DV1 I've got. Probably not. You know, it's a good gun, but it's not as easy to get on with. I suppose the drawback is, again, what we said before about the clear gun, is it's temperamental with its settings, and once you get those right, as you see with this, it actually performed really, really well. So, Trophy Truck with the Titania Pro end cap. And again, as I was saying, I didn't think initially looking at them that there was any difference between the two, but there is. It's just those two small air holes. What it does, I really don't know, to be honest, because they seem, maybe if I tried them back to back for clear coat, maybe I'd notice a small difference. But using it as I am here for clear, and I've used the titanium for clear as well, I can't say that I noticed that one's, you know, faster than the other, or a better finish or anything like that. They're both superb finishes for an all-round cap. They are really good. You know, you get the aqua cap, which is like a base coat cap, and you get the DVR, the clear cap, which has the little baffle inside the cap removed, which I presume lets even more air through. That's the only one that seems to have it, so I presume it just lets more air through. So, you know, it's an all-round cap, which means that often it's like master of none but jack of all trades. And I wouldn't say that applies to this, because, as I say, I've used the titanium cap for base coat and for clear coat, and it works really well with both of them. And it's just cementing my views that the Sagola 460, if you're after an all-round gun that's a bit pricey, not a SATA, but a bit pricey, very well made, good to use, good at what it does, whether it's going to be base coat or clear coat, a 460 Extreme with a titanium cap would be a perfect spray gun. I think it's a really, I can't emphasize how nice and forgiving the gun is. It just seems to, you know, we all make mistakes, I guess, and you sort of like, it just seems to forgive you. You know, you pile it on a bit much, and it's got it on flat enough and nice enough to not run. You know, I mean, that could just be something in my head, couldn't it, saying to me that, you know, the gun's forgiving, but it certainly seems like that. So if you want a good quality, really good quality, a bit different as well, it's not an Iwata, it's not a Sasa, it's not a DeVilbiss, bit different gun, then go for this with the titanium cap. The trophy truck with the pro cap, really good. I mean, you'll see the finish, it's a superb finish. If you're after flat finishes, then it's the, you know, it's the way to go. I think you can get a really good finish with a DVR cap, but this just seems to be a naturally nice cap, if you know what I mean. And 1.2 XL, there's always a saying that, or a theory anyway, that the bigger the tip you go, although you get more fluid out, it can reach a point where it's not atomizing correctly. So 1.2 XL may well be an ideal setting, but you can see it's a cracking finish. If this is what you're after, it's a cracking finish. So both the guns are done really well. I'm not trying to like compare one to the other, because they're doing two different things. And you know, the WS OBS I haven't used for base coat. Sorry, I haven't used for clear coat, so I can't say to you it's a cracking one for clear. But you know, I would think it would handle it reasonably well. And this is what I was saying about the colour. There's like a gold underneath, and it's, if you get this wrong, the grey just doesn't look right at all. But it's handled it really well, and in the clear, just going over the top, has made it look perfect. All right then, guys, well, thanks for watching the videos. Hope you're still enjoying them as much as I enjoy making them, and I'll keep them coming as long as you guys keep watching them. So thanks a lot for watching, and take care, everyone. Cheers, thank you, bye bye.